Now, these days, everyone is talking about protein. Whether you go to the gym, whether you go to a restaurant, whether you start eating in front of people or your friends, everyone is talking about protein. But how can a high protein diet make you fat? And if you're wondering, like, wait, how is this possible? Because these days, everyone is talking about having a diet of high protein, but protein making you fat, well, how is that even possible? Well, the truth is that yes, too much of protein does make you fat, and it also might be working against you. Now, we all know that when it comes to gaining weight, it all comes down to a simple concept that is calories in and calories out, which I think most of us already know. But then, how can too much protein not make you lose weight or make you fat? Well, stick around because in this video, I'm going to share with you exactly why too much of protein will make you put on weight. And by the end of the video, I'm going to help you with something that you could take action on that will help you burn that fat faster. Now, here's what the problem is with high protein diets. Now, I know we've all heard it that protein is like this godchild of dieting, and the more you have it, the better. Well, not exactly. Now, high protein diet these days have become a rage, but they can also come with a lot of pitfalls. And for starters, if you have too much of protein, your body ends up storing it as fat as compared to burning it. I know it's shocking, but it's true. And now I know what you're thinking. You're like, wait, I thought protein was supposed to be the golden ticket for fat loss and having great amount of muscle. Well, the answer to that is yes and no. You see that high protein diets have their place, but here's where it gets tricky. So imagine yourself that you're in a buffet, and who doesn't love a buffet? But you only take your plate and you fill it just with protein. And because you just fill your plate with protein, you might be missing out on other nutrients that your body also requires to burn fat, which are carbs and fats. And yes, you heard me right, carbs and fats aren't the villains when it comes to fat loss. In fact, your body needs a balance of all of this to function at its best. And if you consume too much of protein, it leads to something called as gluconeogenesis. I know it sounds like a very fancy word, but all your body is doing at that point of time, it's taking the protein and converting it into glucose, which can actually spike your insulin levels and halt that fat burning. It's like going to a buffet and realizing that you've eaten so much of that one thing that you cannot now enjoy your dessert. Now, here's the kicker, and that's glycogen control. Now, glycogen is like your body's battery. So it's stored in your liver and your muscles, and it's like the main source of energy during your workouts. But if you manage your glycogen levels better, it might just be that missing piece of the puzzle that will help you in fat burning. And it is very simple. You see, when glycogen levels are low, your body turns to fat stores for energy. So, by very strategically depleting your glycogen stores, you can trick your body into burning more fat. This means that sometimes eating fewer carbs and yes, eating even less protein can be the secret weapon that you need. And if you're wondering as to why isn't a high protein diet the best route for fat loss? Well, apart from converting your protein into fat, having too much of protein can put a lot of stress on your kidneys and also it leads to dehydration. And not just that, it can mess with your gut health and also make it a little more harder and difficult for your body to absorb nutrients. And let's not forget that protein is not the only thing that your body requires. It needs a balance of even carbs and fats, which in the end is the game changer of how you lose fat. So, how do you strike this balance? Instead of you just focusing on protein, try focusing on maintaining a very balanced meal. And make sure that while you do this, your glycogen levels are also in check. Because if your glycogen stores are well and full, your body is pretty lazy and it wouldn't want to jump into your fat stores and use it for energy. And to keep it simple is I think your body is like a hybrid car and it runs on two major fuel sources, glucose and fats. If you always keep storing glucose, your body will never tap into those fats. But the moment you start depleting that glucose or the glycogen in your liver, your body has no other option but to jump into those fat storage. So think about incorporating more whole foods like veggies, fruits, and healthy fats in your diet. This will help you feel fuller, support your gut health, and also keep those glycogen levels in a sweet spot. And by saying all of this, I don't mean that you need to cut down protein entirely. I just want you to be more mindful about understanding how you need to balance all the three macronutrients. Because eventually, the combination of all these three is what is going to make your goal of burning fat even faster. And you have to think of this entire thing just like a car. A car will not just require an engine, it will also require tires, it will also require a steering wheel, it will also require multiple other things like even a headlight. And all these things come together and that's what makes a car. And it's literally the same with your body. So you can't only think of the engine of this car and how you can fuel this engine. You also have to think of different parts of the car because all of them are what makes this car move. So look at this pretty much in a way like a balanced approach as compared to looking at all of this in just one direction, and that is protein. And here are some steps that you could add in your daily routine that will help you burn that fat a little bit faster. First is that you have to understand that timing is everything. So plan all your workouts when your glycogen levels are low. And the best time to do this is early morning because when you sleep, you're in a fasted state, and by the time you wake up, your body's glycogen levels are really low, so it's looking for energy. So if you wake up, try to do a workout because at those times your glycogen levels are really low and your body has no other option but to use stored fat for energy to fuel that workout. Another thing that you can do is after a long break, after a meal, so let's say you've had a meal like at 7:30 a.m., 2.5 to 3 hours after a meal is when you can try and do a workout. Because at that point of time, your body will need a lot of energy to fuel your workout. So it will have no option but again to dip into those stores of fat. And one more thing, if you don't really have access to the gym early morning, or if you don't have access to a place of workout early morning and you want to do something at home, you can just wake up and do even a morning dance off. So you can start your day with a fun 10-minute dance routine to any music. Firstly, it will give you the energy and it will give you a very good start to your day. And second thing is because you do not have your glycogen stores at its peak and because they are really low, your body will have no option but to again dip into those fat stores for energy. So you can just freestyle on something or just get your body moving to some very cool dance moves that maybe you might have always wanted to do. Plus, sometimes this is way better than dragging yourself to the gym at 6 a.m. Now, the next is, like I said earlier, is balance your meals. Make sure that all your meals are balanced with carbs, proteins, and even fats. Don't think of consuming a lot of one over the other. Just like I said, think of it like a car, and you require all these different parts of the car for the car to really function. And one of the best ways is that just balance your plate with a 3-2-1 rule. So, three parts should be your colorful vegetables. Make it look as vibrant as you can with that very pop of color. Two parts should be protein, and one part should be healthy fats. So, you're crafting pretty much a perfect Instagrammable dish, but on the nutrient side, it's also very dense. Make sure that you're not overdoing protein, or you're overdoing carbs, or you're overdoing fats, and make sure that you're consuming good enough protein for your body weight as compared to someone else's. The other thing which is really important is sleep like a kid. The better you sleep, the better your body will burn fat. And if you look at your bed, it's pretty much like a charging station. Every time you sleep on it, and if you have really good sleep, your body is charged. And when you sleep, you go into multiple REM cycles or rapid eye movement cycles. And when you go into this REM state or like your rapid eye movement state, your body is doing all the major work of repairing muscles and using all those nutrients that you've consumed into good use. So even things like building your muscle and even burning fat majorly happens when you're in these REM cycles. So for that, you really need to have good sleep. And the last thing, which most people don't really do, is listen to your body. Now, if you're constantly feeling fatigued and you're not seeing the kind of results that you want, it might be time that you adjust your macro balance. That means something is not right when it comes to your macronutrient balance and your micronutrient balance. And because, as I said, a lot of people prefer one macronutrient over the other, and that imbalance happens, and somewhere your body feels fatigued because it requires the other macronutrient, which the levels of that are really low. And somewhere we have to understand that everyone's body is also different. So find what also works for you, which is more important. Because in the end, it's not about how much protein you eat, it's how you manage all your body's energy stores. And when you focus on your glycogen and even having a balanced diet, you can unlock a whole new level of the way you burn fat. So the next time you're planning your meals, don't just think only about protein. Think beyond it and give your body what it actually requires to thrive. And if this video at any point made you rethink your strategy, don't forget to subscribe. Do hit that like button and feel free to watch any other videos on this channel if you want to get your health better. And if you have any questions or anything you would like to say, do drop them in the comments and I would be happy to reply to them. And until we meet again next, don't stress and be awesome. Rosha that.